All right, folks, I'd like to call this meeting to order pursuant Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. If anybody wishes also to record, please inform the chair. First up, we need to reorganize the board. So at this point, I'll no longer be chair.
I move that we appoint Buck Donovan, re-elect Buck Donovan to be chair for another term.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I guess, any
You want-
discussion? I'll continue on. I'd
I
like
think you
to
do a great job.
thank you, folks.
I think it's important that the town have somebody in the chair who knows a lot about the town and who takes zoning seriously and especially subdivisions seriously. And I think you do all those things
Thank you.
well. I think you represent the town well at town meetings, so. I continuity is good as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good.
I couldn't do it on one board's enough.
Okay, we'll do a
Department of Public Works.
A vote.
Enough for me.
Conrad,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. How should we do a vice chair?
Yes,
I think so.
yes.
Well, we just stay the same. I'll nominate
Wow.
Peter.
I'll nominate Peter. Peter, am I
Okay.
correct? Peter,
Yep.
you were last.
Are you okay with that, Peter? Okay, any further discussion?
Was it seconded?
Somebody,
Yeah, Dave,
Dave
Okay.
nominated me and you nominated. me.
sure.
Somebody second.
Peg,
I'll second. I don't
Peg
care.
second.
You can put me anywhere.
Okay. Conrad,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. All right, we have minutes of 6:10. Oh, public comment. I'm sorry. Public comment, anything? Nothing, Kat?
Oh, my
Too
goodness.
hot to go out this week, huh? It was warm. Okay, approval of minutes.
I'll make the motion. We accept the minutes for Monday, June 10th. As presented. Second.
Second by Peter. Any discussion? Hearing none. Conrad,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Yes.
Buck Donovan, aye. Okay. Next up, Kristen O'Brien, how do you want us to address you, Kristen? Okay. My first question, I think, is gonna have to be. Thought I saw. Produce materials. What material?
Well, we're not gonna be producing the website, we're gonna be screening and crushing the site.
That's why I had to ask, and at that time, I will recuse myself out of this. And Peter, you can take over. Okay? Because of a possible conflict.
Excuse me.
Get that right out of it.
Aye.
I,
Do you want to just give us an overview
Yeah.
of what you're proposing?
yeah. So, do you want me to show you it? That's probably here,
Okay.
because between the building inspector, town manager, and the bylaws, we're all kind of not knowing where we would fit for what we exactly have to apply for or go forward to do. So we want to open a material sales and storage yard, which means that we would have concrete basins similar to this.
Okay.
The piece of property that we are currently looking at is in the Quarry Industrial Park, where there's permit right now for a grow marijuana facility. There is a town culvert that goes through the middle of the property.
So what,
Sewer goes
Sewer,
through it, yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
what part of the industrial park are you looking at?
160.
That doesn't help me. Can you just walk me in, you know, from the entrance? Is it?
Yes.
Toward the back on the
It's
left?
almost at the end of what's the property for the sportsman's club. That's how
Yes,
back
so
it
the
is.
sportsman's club's back here. The coffee shop is here. There's a little kind of office there.
Okay,
So when you go past Lee Quarry, where the doctor's office is, there's a culvert at the end. It's to the diagonal to the 2 o'clock area.
Thank you.
Because most of the clearing's been done, correct?
Yes, so there's no more clearing that can additionally be done. It's about 10 acres total. And what you see on this map that's cleared is all the clearing that we are allotted to do.
No, we passed that along. See that now.
Thank you. So we want to set up bins to do material sales. And the problem that we're coming down to is
And the material is what, Kristen?
mulch, sandstone,
Oh, okay.
salts.
So when you say bins, you mean like
Salt.
the concrete retainers that stack up?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
You're gonna do like road salt,
Road salt, road sand.
cover it?
Probably, yeah, we'd have to, because if it gets wet, it'd be too hard.
Okay.
Yeah, with like a little, not a full building,
Just
just
salt.
an enclosure shell.
Yeah.
It would probably go on top of the concrete barriers like we have similar now.
Mhm.
We would put a garage in the back left corner. Because of the town sewer line, we can't build anything over it. So essentially, we'd want to have a gate, a little storage shack, you know what I mean, like a shed type office area. Scales, concrete barriers, a garage. And that permission, you come in with your truck, you get loaded, you go out through the scales, pay for whatever you get and or scheduled delivery, whatever,
We're talking about crushing and screening.
crushing and screening. So the screening,
Crushing is a noise emitter
yes.
and is also very dusty.
So I talked to the town manager and I talked to the zoning board. Not zoning board, the zoning enforcement officer.
Yeah.
And as long as we stay within the noise coordinates, because it's an industrially zoned, even though it's an RPI industrial, the noise coordinates are a little louder. So we would still be within those noise coordinates.
You say that it would be allowed to be louder in the OPLI? than it would
No,
be
we
industrial?
wouldn't be going over the decibels that we are allotted to use in the OPI. You have your normal decimals for a normal residential, you have the OPLI, and then you have industrial.
So you're gonna be meeting the middle of those categories.
Correct. And because of the barrier around the facility, it would screen that noise because we can't clear any more of the facility.
What would the barrier be?
Well, we've got
Woods,
a neighbor.
Wood.
that- Oh,
I know.
that's what he-
I already talked to him. Yeah, I've already talked to him.
He's very
Yes,
active on noise,
correct.
especially backup alarms.
Yes.
I think that's the problem. That's the issue is the crushing is,
I mean, obviously, I would be understandable to have time restrictions on the crushing. That I would be completely fine with it. It's just having the 24/7 access to the facility.
screening is not as much of a problem. It's the crushing is.
What about dust?
We ran across the same thing with last one with Billy. We're changing the use. And we had no problem with it because his is quiet storage, other than people bringing stuff in and out.
But you're allowed to have warehousing. That's what
Right.
that was allowed. This would be under a special permit. I would think.
Right.
Well, that depends, because it might not be under a special permit. It could also be under this 13.4D, which is light industrial, not previously permitted, in which you can operate with a minimum of noise, smoke, fumes, and odors that would not create a diverse impact for environmental and performance standards. Or it could also fall under agriculture, or it could also fall under warehouse and retail, but the way that the bylaw is worded, it says floor plan. If it didn't say floor plan, then we would fall under that category.
What's the citation again, please? I've got a copy of it here, but it doesn't have the number on.
It's 13
Oh,
point,
oh, I see. It's 13.4. I'll find it.
so D.
And this is the last lot.
Oh, no, that 13.4 is just,
Yeah, that's not right.
Sorry,
13.4 is the citation for special event conditions.
13.4 is the process for special permits.
Right.
But what I'm asking is, what is this language from? What part of the bylaw is this language from? Is it from? the
Chris
bylaw?
Britton gave it to me.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I could find it.
All right, so, yeah, it's under two D. Uses requiring a special permit from the planning board in accordance with 199-13.4. And then you're saying under D, light industry not previously permitted, and which can be operated with a minimal noise, smoke, fumes, odors, and other nuisances, which does not create adverse impacts. Also in accordance with Article 12, environmental performance standards. So it's still a special permit. Even if, well, I thought you were saying it's by right.
No, that's with the special permit.
Okay.
Agriculture would be by right, or retail yard would be by right.
Yeah, anything that's retail would be allowed by right.
Right.
So the question that we're having that nobody seems to be able to figure out is, would this fall under retail? Because we are selling material there and we are producing.
Well, I think retail's not. That's not even a
I
question.
think that's the best way to put it, is retail.
But except for the.
Well,
Except
except
for the
for the
crushing.
noise. that
Crushing is a manufacturing
Right,
feature.
right,
It is a noise emitting.
Right.
It's a odor and dust
that's right.
emitting. That's, and it's under the environmental performance standards.
Yeah.
Retail, there's
So the,
not an issue with that at all.
correct, so I think the question here is, can we go forward under a retail yard? With the 24/7 access, be able to sell and bring in material and buy material, okay, that would be one permit. And then to piggyback that would be a permit under a special permit for the crushing, which would then put restrictions on the amount in which when we can crush.
I would tend to think,
Normally, that's how a land court would do it,
You said you're gonna crush down there?
crushing and screening.
That's-
See,
that's the
to
problem.
me is-
That's the problem.
That,
Well, that could be into even with more noise. I mean,
No,
because I've not heard many crushers that are quiet.
They're never quiet.
If you brought it onto the site, I could understand it. But I think when you crush down there, you're gonna make a lot of noise.
I do too.
But you have to go through a site plan approval anyway,
Right.
whether it's a by right or it's a special permit. It sounds like if you wanted to put the bins in, bring material in, sell it at retail or wholesale,
Mhm.
that would be allowed by right, subject to site plan approval. 24 hour,
That's a question.
Well, the
Well, there's
24
no
hours.
hours and limitations
I
in
would
those
say
days.
probably winter's gonna be their biggest time, 24 hours, and that's for salt and sand. People coming in for salt and sand.
Exactly.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you crush on your own property on forestry?
This is a whole different business. There's not much noise difference from Forest Street to there
Well,
because there's residential.
it's just that you'd be making the noise on that property that's elevated, and the noise is not gonna,
I would be very interested to take the decimal reader and compare the noise of a crusher to the guns.
well, you know, that's a very good.
I would be very, very interested.
Because, you know, the sportsman's club shoot,
Shooting
All-
right there at the property line.
especially, it's 7 days a week.
however, that's already a pre-existing non-conforming use in that zone and it's grandfathered.
That's right.
You can't do anything about
But
it.
as I say, the only drawback I see right now is the crushing part.
Right.
I mean, with the bin, open bins, I'm not afraid of that turning into dust. I don't think it'll ever dust.
No.
Never get dry enough to dust.
I think there's gotta be some provision for the salt to mitigate.
Well, the salt still falls under the retail sales.
No, it would.
Yeah.
But, you know, you would have to protect the area
Mhm.
for salt storage,
Well, all the
So
bins
the-
will have concrete or blacktop underneath
which
them.
also have water coming in and you don't want to
Right.
wash out and get into the ground.
Well, we have to, by conservation, have barriers in place for water flow.
But you're.
There is
talking
wetlands
about-
there, so we have to, that's more of a
Right, so there's-
conservation restriction.
There is wetland proximity.
Yes,
But you're not gonna tanker out the rain that falls on the salt shed, right? You need a cover for it.
You need.
we're gonna have a
The
cover,
water-
yeah,
keep the
but
water
whatever
rate
conservation tells us that we'll have to do
Yeah.
is what we're gonna have to do. We have a meeting with them as well.
I guess my opinion is the retail would be allowed by right, subject to site plan approval. Anything to do with the manufacture or crushing.
Do you have to go for a site plan approval for the retail?
Yes. Yeah, it's use is
Where's-
allowed under site plan review by the planning board in accordance with the 119-13.3. Anything under the OPLI requires planning board site plan review.
Right.
What are you reading from?
right at the top.
C or the
sorry,
page that you gave?
That was the,
Okay.
K.
Where does it say retail?
Office. OPL, uses allowed under site plan approval, then it gives you all the by right uses. Then it goes down and talk about which under special permitted uses.
But I didn't see it listed in there under
What's that?
site plan.
That's right there.
So what I'm seeing in the bar version from Dan is K1A says business offices are uses allowed. And then it lists 12 kinds of business offices.
Right.
Then B says research, medical, dental, technical service laboratories. That's not relevant. C says light industry, which might be relevant. But it doesn't say anything about retail, does it?
I thought there was a retail in there somewhere. Yeah, D. Retail sales.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Right. Where the sales area is not more than 20% of the total floor space.
Right, and it is more than 20%. No, it's less than 20%, I'm sorry.
How big is
What
it?
is it? How big is it?
We don't have, the building, we don't know yet.
Oh,
But either way, the lot is not more than the total amount of acres that we can't clear more. So what we have cleared is all we can use.
I think I'm finally catching up to what you assumed I already knew. You're selling things from outdoors bins,
Correct.
and this is written as though it's a retail
Interior,
operation inside a building. And
But
Right.
it's the use is retail. That's a use is a retail, or retail is a use of a category, use category.
right, right. Well, so how does this use category apply to the language in D? Where you've got this test that says
floor plan.
sales area is not more than 20% of the total floor space.
Correct.
How should that apply to this applicant?
Says retail sales where the sales area is not more than 20% of the total floor space.
Correct. So the garage wouldn't count as space being used because we're not selling out of it. We're using that for storage.
Right, and oh, that's to your
Right.
benefit.
Right.
That's why I was asking, how big's the
how
big's
big
the
is the
building?
building? How big is the building?
Let's say the building's 10,000 square feet,
Right.
okay? The retail part of that cannot exceed 20%. And the
Right.
retail part of that is where your person is inside the
Correct.
2,000 square foot building who is performing the retail.
Where the bins would be, basically.
No, where the sale is occurring. No, follow my thinking.
If the sale's occurring, that would be in the sales office.
Well,
That's only the size of probably a mobile office, yeah.
Well, no,
So that's definitely less than 20%.
No, that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. If the whole building is 2,000 square feet
hmm
and
We're only gonna have like a mobile office, you know, those like sheds or like an office trailer?
Yeah.
That's how big the office will be.
Okay.
So it's gonna be less than 20%.
right, so that's,
So we wouldn't have to go for a special permit.
no, you have.
Or we
no,
still have-
You have to go in
anyway.
there.
You have to.
But as
Okay,
far as the site plan review is concerned, check the box, you're gonna be less than 20%, so
okay.
you still gotta
I see
come
what you're
in,
saying.
you still gotta come in for a. What's on the property now? Is it just,
Nothing.
it's just cleared?
Yeah, nothing's been done now.
Nothing's been done, it's just been cleared.
Just the
They
clearing that
cleared it and that was it.
Okay, what are you doing for paving?
for, we don't even know. I know we're gonna do like blacktop and millings underneath each of the bins
Okay,
or
you're gonna-
concrete.
You're gonna come up with a stormwater management plan?
Yes, that's, we're gonna
Okay.
do with conservation.
So we're talking about a major site plan review, not a minor one, but a major. It's just another part of the process.
Okay,
Could we keep reading on that page? In D, I'm not sure that this really applies to the case. There's 1, 2, and 3 underneath.
Yep.
The product, some of your product will be manufactured on site, the crushed parts. right?
and the topsoil.
And the topsoil will be manufactured on site. How is that?
They're gonna run it through screen probably to make it,
Oh, I see.
so
So
get
you'll
a
bring in
debris
some
out,
stuff.
maybe a little sand or something.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
And that's not all that noisy.
No. Screen's quiet.
No,
It's the crusher.
it's a
It's like
crusher.
crap.
Number 2
I mean,
says,
if it was a jaw crusher, I'd definitely say no, but
Mhm.
being hydraulic, little different story.
Yeah,
let's keep going, okay? it is not the primary retail outlet for the products, is it? Can she meet that?
Hmm.
Can she meet paragraph D two?
Is the primary retail.
It
outlet
is
for
not the
product.
primary retail outlet for the product.
Why wouldn't it be?
Where else is it sold?
Well, on this property, there's all the bins, so that's the retail.
It means there's another retail outlet somewhere else, which she doesn't have, right? You don't have,
We would be getting it from another retail outlet, like the mulch
right?
and the stone.
So this is talking about, I think, the way I read this is where do you sell your products? Do you sell them only at this site or do you sell them also at other sites?
Just at this site.
Just at this site. So that, I think, means that she cannot comply with number two.
Kristen, do
Because it
you
is
have
the primary
any way
outlet for this.
of
for these products.
recording, the decibel rating of this crusher? You know, somebody else that has one,
I do know somebody else that has one, yeah.
just to, because just.
I can get a copy of his decimal readings,
'cause, I
because he
mean,
went,
and right
he went
now,
to a zoning board.
that's my
See, it's special
biggest
permit.
drawback is the noise of the crusher.
Mhm.
But if you've got somebody that's got an equal, and if they can have a decibel reading with it,
Mhm.
that changed my mind. And you're also gonna have, if this goes through, a drainage plan.
Yeah.
Is, especially with the salt, I mean, yes, it's undercover. But
Either way, we're gonna have to have all that because of the wetlands. That's not even a question. We have to.
Dave, are you finished with that line? Are you finished with your questions on that? I want to get back to this. And look at number three. Sales are incidental to the primary use. What is the primary use?
Sales.
Is retail sales.
Well, then,
Retail
so that how
sales.
can the sales be incidental to the sales?
Unless you argue that the manufacturing process is the primary use and the retail is accessory use.
Okay, then if the manufacturing is the primary use, then are we under D at all? I just don't, I'm just having trouble fitting this to the
Yeah,
facts.
Right,
Now,
well, it is.
let's
this is a tough one.
I know,
let's keep reading.
that's why I'm here. Because every time, I mean, we've went through these bylaws and we go from one section to it, then we flip to another section and then we're at another section. And then it comes down to, well, maybe you're just agriculture and you don't have to do any of this. There's no. This isn't set up anywhere. And I know Tommy has his own special permit right now. I don't know what Bobby at Meadow Farm's under for a permit for the same thing.
How about F?
But
You-
it's a
Kristen?
different zone too, that they're in.
I don't know. If it's the
Yeah,
zone.
it is, it is. There are different zones.
I'm gonna try to keep the board
Okay.
focused a little bit more
Sure.
time on the bylaw. Here you go.
Thanks, Buck. Hopefully I won't be here long.
No, we'll puzzle it out together, Kristen.
Yeah,
Read F, would you? Distribution of commercial and industrial supplies and wholesale trade, except motor vehicles, provided that the space dedicated to storage of products shall not exceed 70% of the total floor area. Can you satisfy that one? Are you distributing commercial and industrial supplies and wholesale trade?
Yeah,
In the building,
Well, you're gonna have a building. And the space dedicated to storage of the product is mainly gonna be outdoors, right?
right.
So, doesn't exceed 70% of the total floor area. She's got a building that's got some vehicles in it and some office space mainly, right? And maybe a little salt or mulch or something.
there'll be no materials inside.
Okay. Anyway, that looks to me like a possibility for you. It's F.
I just want to see what the total.
but that, yeah, even if it is a possibility, it still puts it under the by right use.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
where we're gonna be in trouble with is the special permit.
I agree. So Kristen, I think another question I'm gonna have for you, either you can answer now or later, is if you can get the storage and sales part approved easily, but might have trouble getting the crushing part approved because it's a special permit. Is this a one part package or a two-part package? In other words, would you want to go forward if you ultimately were not able to get the second part approved? Would you still go forward with the plan?
if we could do. So what you're saying is if we can do storage, sales and screening, but no crushing, right?
Is this screening noisy or dusty?
No,
Well, screening would still be a manufacturing product. So it's still requiring a special permit. It's gonna be more
It'd be easier to get.
easier to
Okay.
get,
Yeah, more likely to succeed.
question.
Yeah,
because what it comes down to here in the end is,
If
you
we could do storage, sales and screening with no crushing, would that be a deal breaker?
gotta see the environmental performance standards still have to be met, which is noise and.
If you could do
Right.
storage, sales and screening, but no crushing. All right, look, no,
Listen,
it would be a deal breaker.
Okay, good. I don't mean.
No,
I don't
I'd
mean that
rather,
third one.
well, no, because I mean, I have a lot sitting on this line too, because I have a purchase and sales sitting that's
Okay.
determined on this.
I asked the question in order to try to give you advice on how to proceed.
Correct.
So
No, I appreciate that.
knowing that it's a deal breaker, I suggest that you go forward with one combined application for special permit for the whole deal.
Mhm.
And include your crushing.
But the
And
problem with that
we can review it in parts.
okay,
And, you know, it's ranked by what's the most rigorous review required. Okay, if it's one application.
Mhm.
And the sales most likely would go through easily.
Yeah.
And the screening maybe a little less easily, but still pretty easily. And then the crushing would be the thing that would draw the debate and have an uncertain outcome. But if you got the permit for the whole deal, then you could go forward. If you didn't get the permit or you got it with a restriction that said no crushing, then you just wasted $500 on a permit application and whatever you
Correct.
spent on your real estate.
Engineering and legal and everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I still think having a single, does the board agree with me that having a single application for the whole project makes the most sense for review?
I would prefer if she went that route, but I hate to see it be the deal breaker is the crushing.
exactly, yeah.
So
And I guess
You'd hate for it to.
that's why I think when I asked about, I'm
the
sorry,
noise,
but,
I just want to understand what
Okay.
you mean by deal breaker, that's all.
what's that?
I want to understand what you mean by the deal breaker.
If they deny the crushing part.
Yeah.
She's not gonna want any of it.
Right.
So if that's the deal breaker, the crushing part, I still would like to go forward, but have her come in with as much information you can
Right.
ahead of time
Does not have much information.
to show everybody how loud this thing is. I mean,
Right.
we all know a screener is quiet. I mean, that's all it is. It might have a shaker grate in it. And that's it. But when you put the crusher to it, you could, say, okay, this is the screen, this is the crusher.
yep.
It might help.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I have no problem with that. And like I said, I would have no problem with like hours and restrictions on the crushing either. But I also don't know where else you would, as a board, expect for somebody to be able to do these kind of facilities.
Probably in the industrial area.
Probably in a
Where
area.
there's
Well,
nothing
there's
available.
nothing left.
You're right. So, you guys are redoing the bylaws and all this stuff. It's like, where do you expect someone to be able to open a business and do this stuff? Right? This is the closest thing to an industrial that we're gonna find right now.
But the OPLI is a very
But it's,
specific uses. That was,
Partly
partly medical,
that's
partly
right,
light industrial. I mean, that's what that whole
zone,
zone was
Mhm.
designed
Right.
for.
Right.
So basically, we're kind of pushing the limits on
yes.
what really should be an industrial feature. A use that's more of an industrial zone type thing. So we gotta be cognizant of that.
Yeah.
So if you come back with a special permit application, does the board agree that one application is the right thing, still? Okay. And
But
if
it's
you
gonna be
come-
handled, he's gonna handle, the site plan approval is gonna be one part of it,
Yeah, well, site plan approval is always part of a
one
special permit,
application.
but one application,
You think,
and we could review it part by part and impose conditions if we wanted to, and one of the conditions might be crushing only between the hours of, 9 and 4 or something like that. Or one of the conditions might be no crushing, in which case she would have lost a lot of her investment and wouldn't want to go forward, but that would still be the decision. It's still a possible decision.
thousands of dollars
How
in
much?
engineering.
Oh,
She's gotta
the
go through-
engineer,
She's got to go through major site plan
Okay.
approval,
all right.
and that's, you got a survey?
Do you have a survey too?
I have to see if they have one. They might have one.
She's already got the
Industrial
survey.
park probably has one.
Well, if not, I would think
Yeah.
that the marijuana, that people probably have.
This is not. I don't know.
Engineering
We need
alone
more
is
information.
Yeah.
15,000.
So
Yeah.
So on the, and just thinking back when we did this for RWs, we put that time restriction of. 6 a.m.
We did.
So how would that impact the sand and salt? If,
No, it would just be a time restriction on the crushing, I believe.
She needs 24 hours because she has to have access to the salt
Right.
shed during the winter.
we shouldn't be sort of indicating how we would go on things.
No,
now
I think
without-
we-
Well, I think
Until
that's
we
where
get
we
the
were trying to
evidence.
figure out exactly where we would categorize.
Yeah.
So we still haven't gotten to the bottom of that. Where exactly would we categorize this type of business as?
I think it's gonna
We're
be-
under the bylaw.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know
It's gonna be under
if
two.
that's,
Because
We had a couple of, you said,
there's a, yeah.
there was agricultural, was one that doesn't apply. But there was 2 or 3 that were questionable.
We had the distribution of commercial and industrial supplies.
If we were agriculture, would we have to go for any permits?
Yes,
Well,
still a site plan approval. You think it's 61A?
I don't know what I'm thinking, but
Yeah, you select the guy.
Okay. And so, Kristen, I think coming in for this light industry special permit and roll the whole project in under that, and we'll understand that there are different parts of it. The sales, the preparation, the trucks in, the trucks out, all of that, maybe more, that I don't even understand yet.
now can we come forward with a special permit application as like a tentative? Like, look, this is what we want to do. What would the restrictions be
Well-
on it instead of investing?
The best thing is to come and tell us how you want it to work. And if you want to put restrictions on it, propose them. But most people just ask for what they want.
Right, but instead of me investing in a surveyor and going through all that thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff. To come forward and say, okay, this is what we have for right now cleared land, this is what we're allowed to use. This is what we want to do, what would the restrictions be?
well,
The only way
see,
to-
Because we
I
also have a
guess-
time restriction that we're under with the purchase and sales.
I'll be honest, I like more information. And
So,
I think you need to have a survey. We've had an issue here in this town recently where there was no survey.
Okay, but there is a survey on plans. You
We'd
guys
like
just
to-
issued a marijuana
There's gotta be a-
hot
that's
growing
right.
facility there within the last 5 years.
Right.
So there is plans on file.
Okay, well, we'd like to see maybe, or I would love to see, maybe they don't, but I would like to see copies on file or.
Right, which that's not what I'm saying. That's fine. If they're public knowledge, the town has them. What I'm saying is if I come forward with an application and you guys have time to review what's already filed. And we know that this is the lot that we're allowed to use before I spend all this money in investing and get locked into a purchase and sales before my time runs out. Is there a tentative way to come forward and say, this is what I want to do? What would the restrictions be?
So, we kind of went that route with our Ws down there as well. I mean, they came in with an idea that they wanted to go with. But they didn't, there was no specificity even size of building. In fact, when they got here. they
I'll
said,
know the size of the building by then.
Huh?
I'll know the exact size.
Yeah, we
Send it to the board.
have to see where the buildings are going, where the
Make sure you
things,
get-
where the bins are going.
And then
We'd
That
have-
I already have.
We would have to know in the special permit what kind of traffic you're expecting in the place. You know, how many trucks a day,
Right,
uh,
the time.
yeah, the times, understanding that during the winter, you're gonna need 24-hour access. Lighting is a big thing.
Lighting is a big thing.
Lighting's a big thing. Stormwater
Yeah.
management is a big thing.
I honestly don't know.
So-
Are we allowed to do that?
allowed to do what?
What she's asking for? or-
Give an advisory opinion, basically?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what this meeting is now.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, but let me,
I don't know if we
I'm
can-
feeling myself limited in a couple of ways. One is we haven't heard from the neighbors yet, and that's what the process is
That's right.
designed to develop in
Right.
full. And it's been discussed that there maybe could be more information about the noise levels prevalent in the neighborhood was the gun range.
Mhm.
And what the noise level would be at the property limit, various points along your perimeter from the crusher. And I think, so I wouldn't want to give you my opinion until I heard all of those things.
Right, which we would still be able to do all those things
Well, we
with
don't know.
applying for the special permit.
Yeah, and the other thing, Kristen, is you're indicating that your right to purchase is maybe time limited.
Correct.
So there's also a time element here of how many times do you want to come before the board? Do you want to come for a practice round and then a real thing? Or do you want to just come and try your luck on the real permit?
Well, either way, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to get everything done.
You have the
for-
extensions in the contract.
Correct.
That property's been there forever. I mean, it's not going anywhere.
Right. It has
Okay.
been since they built the
So
park.
I think what we need is a formal site plan approval, major site plan approval application with a special permit application. One application, but covering both areas.
And notice to the neighbors.
Notice to the neighbors, oh, we have to see
Yeah.
what the plans are gonna be, we have to see what the layout's gonna be, we have to see the size of the building. Under special
The
permit, we gotta
lighting.
know about the traffic issues, impact to utilities, that kind of thing. But more importantly, under light industry,
I wouldn't really know what the traffic would be.
Well,
you know, I mean, we're talking 50 trucks a day, or we talking?
I mean, I know what my trucks would be, but I can't predict.
Well, it could be 200 pickup trucks too.
I
That's just say, you're guessing on.
Yeah,
Well, that's all anybody ever does.
Right.
With a business, right? Here's what we hope, here's the amount of business we hope to.
Unless you get a traffic engineer and do the IT calculations, but I mean, that's not what she needs to do on this.
Yeah.
But more importantly of anything on this thing is Article 12, environmental and performance standards. That deals with the noise, it deals with odor, it deals with dust. Because that's gonna be important. If you're gonna make an application for crushing, that's all gonna be part and parcel for this discussion. So that has to be addressed as part of the application. I think unfortunately,
which is the one.
it's under Article 12, environmental and performance standards. If you look under,
It's on your sheet.
it's on your sheet right there.
Yeah,
Under D, it's,
I see it.
when you hire, your engineer is gonna know what you're looking for.
I'm sorry, that's okay, so.
Last thing I'd like to throw out is we all should consider this is the last lot. now. It has restrictions on it because of an easement from the town for the sewer line. For somebody to do, say you wanted to put commercial buildings down
You
there,
can't.
you've got to move the sewer line. And that's what Cintas
Four-
originally looked at.
4 people have had purchase and sales on top of us.
Mhm.
And they've all had to resign because they can't do anything on the property.
You know, 10 acres of land they can't do.
You cannot clear any more than what's already cleared.
Oh, right.
So now you're down to 2.5 acres out of 10
Why can't you clear more?
wetlands. So out of 10 acres, you're allowed to use 2.5, maximum 3. And then on top of that, you have a town sewer line that goes through the middle. So you can't build anything over that. So that's another restriction on the property.
Wow,
You can see why it's the last lot.
that's why. it's the
Nobody
last-
wants it.
Well, that's just it. But as I say, that's why I don't want to throw it out there, that this is the last lot and it's not the easiest one to sell. That's why it's still sitting down there.
Right,
And it has to, still has to meet criteria,
why, you want,
okay? And if it can meet the criteria, hallelujah, the place is sold out.
And then there's not a pot growing facility there
Yeah.
either. Right? But
But-
I also don't feel comfortable going and spending 10, 15,
I don't blame you.
$20,000 of the unknown.
well,
That's why I would try to
Every
get,
developer has to do that. I mean, it's.
everyone has to do that, that
I've been
comes
doing
for a
this for 45
special
years.
permit,
We always spend money and we lost. I mean,
right?
it's part of the risk
It's
involved.
part of the game when you're in business.
Anyway,
We've been able to give you.
No.
advice.
No one still told
Well,
me
you-
exactly what we we would be
Well,
categorized.
I think you
Yeah.
need,
Well, I'm gonna say, I think where we are is that we're gonna try to get you in as a special permit under light industry. I think that's where the board is, right?
I would say yes.
that gives you,
That's the
They give
biggest
you
and most intensive use that you're planning. If you weren't gonna do the crushing and screening, I think be looking elsewhere, but I think that's. You brought us the language that's relevant and it requires a special permit for to do all of the things that you want to do. And we've tried to describe for you how we think you should present that in terms of what information should be included.
Mhm.
What other questions do you have about before you go away and start your work?
I think that's it, because it doesn't seem like without the engineer plan and all that, you can say, you know, if you were gonna be doing sales or, you know, you'd have these hours of restrictions, or crushing, you'd have this type of hours of restrictions.
That's
So
why
it doesn't-
everybody's having a problem with this. Town administrator, the CEO,
Right.
what you're describing isn't really in this lane. And what we're trying to do for you here is show you that there are certain things that will fit in that lane, and there are other things that are kind of. So I think we're trying to give you some input
Yeah.
to show you that there can be movement here. Retail, I think, well, we're not supposed to give opinions.
Yeah,
Retail is easier for you. The screening, even under special permit, is easier for you. The crushing is gonna be a problem. And you have to, you or your engineer has to demonstrate that it's gonna meet these performance standards in environmental in order to sell the board and sell the neighbors. It's not just us.
it's not us.
You get a bunch of neighbors in here go,
Right.
damn, we don't want that stuff going on. And that's gonna be a problem.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be a problem either way. So I mean, I think you're getting direction on
Some of the issues.
what the issues are gonna be and some of the good things and some of the bad things. And again, if you get an engineer involved in this thing, all your engineers gotta look at this, 2D and look at the performance standards. He already knows what he's gonna have to do with site plan approval. I mean, that's a given.
Mhm.
Everybody that comes in for minor or major site plan approval, there's a set ordinance that describes exactly what they have to provide. And frankly, if they don't provide it, I mean, we had to send our Ws back once or twice. I mean,
That's right.
it just,
Yeah, which I'm fine to do that. I think it would just be a little more comfortable to do it knowing that, okay, you know what?
Do that. I don't think we're even
There's a
allowed to do
possibility that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
well, there's also a possibility it's not gonna make it either. I mean,
Right.
again,
Right.
in real estate development, that's part of the risk.
Yeah.
And we've all been through this. So I mean, it's, anyway, I think we've given
That's it.
directions and.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think we probably got more of a definitive description from us probably than you got from the CEO or Chris, but
Yeah.
so I mean, it does give you direction.
So
Yeah.
if we get minutes out of this meeting, I think the minutes should show that the board advised Kristen that coming in under light industry for a special permit
Under
is
2D.
the recommended course. And that it'll require site plan review. And
Major.
Major site plan. review.
Major.
And that we're interested in such things as,
What's the difference between site plan review and a major site plan?
oh, well, we divided site plan. Site plan review applies to everything from, tiny little things up to major factories.
Mhm.
And we've tried to divide it so that the process for little things like, buying a restaurant and moving the counter inside doesn't produce a whole lot of cost and paperwork. So that's a minor site plan review. Everything is either minor or major.
Mhm.
That's a site plan. And yours, because of the amount of trucking and mass involved and possible noise, would be more carefully reviewed, which is what major really is about.
You guys should have it as like a step 1 and a step 2. So that nobody's a minor and nobody's a major.
A good
there
example, we
is.
just had Domino's in here a couple weeks ago. You know where the old Kentucky Fried Chicken is, right?
Mhm.
We have an existing parking lot, existing paving, existing stormwater, existing building, existing, and they want to do something with a change in use. That required a survey, showing the plan, showing what the dimensions are, how the parking is going to be laid out. That's a minor site plan review, because there's really nothing changing. You have a piece of dirt that's already leveled, cleared, but now you're putting improvements on it, affecting stormwater, affecting utilities, affecting
Traffic flow.
traffic flows, that kind of thing. So
Lighting.
lighting.
Lighting is always gonna do.
That's the difference between a major and a minor.
Mhm.
Um,
It should just be like a tier 1 and a tier 2.
Well.
Or
you-
minor or
you-
major.
When you start writing them, we'll. Well, maybe change it.
Maybe we need to change it.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you.
Yeah, yours isn't easy, but it's,
Yeah.
but I think you got some idea what.
Right,
Thank you for
Thank
coming in. I
Thank
hope
you.
we've helped.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you again soon.
that's right.
Thank you.
Help Gary get to work, will you?
He's working. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
He's back.
Let's see who's next. Buck's the chair though.
Back to the chair.
How long, what time is it? Does anybody know?
Oh,
6:46.
6:46? Mm-hmm,
oh, you're the Form A?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll introduce myself in a minute.
Is it yours? Found it in the parking lot.
Yes,
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
thank you.
It dropped out of your stuff. That's 2 weeks in a row.
Did somebody
Now,
drop
yeah,
something?
Pat dropped a check in here for a Form A a
Oh,
couple weeks ago. Yeah, you know,
I haven't
Pat.
seen- Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So that was one of my questions before I get started. We're still making 5 copies of the large plans. Is
Mhm.
that still on your
Uh-huh.
recommendation? Okay.
And can we ask about who this person?
Yeah,
is and whom
Can we
they're
get some
representing?
background?
Yeah, I want to hand out this stuff first
Okay.
before I start going.
Okay.
If that's all
Thank
right
you.
with you? On my application? On my application? Thank you. You're welcome.
Did you say your name?
Yeah, can I hand out the stuff
Yeah.
first?
Okay.
I just want to. take them. I have one more. This is on both sides.
You'll go ahead.
No,
Take it,
I
then.
looked it over earlier.
We have a couple large ones here. If we need them.
Be the applicant?
House maps.
Didn't we go through this one already? That they made changes?
Or
I have not presented this one.
It's a property that Lee's buying from,
we did the legal, we did the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Jack Malinaro, who
Yeah.
came in and did that. Would you like them?
Yeah.
Oh, this is close. I've got another.
This is that
Well,
strip
this is-
in between the two.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we've gone over this, right?
The town approved it.
Yeah. The town
Now
did
it's
approve
the
of it.
paperwork.
Now the paperwork.
CPA joining the
Yeah.
property.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Heather Brown. I'm from Foresight Land Services and I will be presenting for the town. All right, what we did is we surveyed this lot here. As you look on their tax map, it's the one, it looks like yellow. We surveyed that parcel and we surveyed this parcel as well, which is all owned by the same person. They're going to carve out this section and keep it. This will go to the town. And this small section, which is actually owned by the town, will go to them. Very simple. You have, this lot has frontage up by the Provo, which you were just mentioning earlier. So it still has frontage, which is mentioned on the plan, so that if this is recorded, if you guys sign off on it, it is documented. This is town property as well as this is town property. So you will now have contiguous land. Which I have a little one here. People are interested.
The,
Yep, go ahead.
Is
Any
the
questions?
orange outlined on a page in front of, or the yellow, I guess?
It turned orange. I colored it in
Okay,
pink.
okay. Yellow, orange, pink.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be the same shape as that pink thing up there.
Because what you're looking at is, this is only a section of it. This part here is what you're looking in the
Oh, I
yellow
see, I
orange
see.
area. Yep. The pink is actually the new parcel that's being created,
Okay,
which will remain with their land.
okay, so where is the pink from the large on this sheet?
You'll see the new property line here,
Oh, all right.
right there.
Okay, okay,
That new property line is this one here,
all right. And
which
so,
I do have labeled on the plan for future uses, new property line.
okay. And so the connection between for the town is a relatively narrow strip. I mean, there's a long strip down here in this pink area, but to get from the west
What it is,
section to
yeah.
the east section.
Yeah,
is
you
just
now,
through
yeah,
That little narrow strip there that's
yeah, so.
not outlined.
Right, this little
Yeah.
strip here, which is, that would connect this parcel, which is your lot 1, which is in
Okay.
blue.
Okay,
This is a town parcel here, which is this one right here.
Right.
And then this piece where you have the easement coming through is also town land. So you're literally having town land from here all the way to here. From here all the way to here. And now you have this strip in the middle, which is bringing everything together. So you're,
Thank you.
Where is this lot though? Dealing with the legal.
Over here.
Yeah.
which I did take into account the
This is the-
Leaper plan.
Yeah.
To show the frontage.
You can see it here.
That's good. I'm glad you did.
We cut out the barn. This is
Yeah.
another map. We cut out, put the barn into his.
Okay,
Yeah, because he definitely was
there's
encroaching.
still no road frontage.
Road frontage for lot one.
Well, it's actually,
We can just talk
proposed
about
where
the road.
he's buying the barn from the town.
Yeah, we didn't give
Yeah,
him
that
any
did.
frontage.
Okay.
No, his lot, from what I can remember, is actually, we just did lots to combine with it on the sides. We didn't
Mhm.
give him any frontage.
Okay.
And the width is still 100 feet between the new land and the abutting lands. So that will still be considered, if you ever wanted to carve that out, you still have the width requirement within the zoning. It's good. But now you have, with the combining of all the lots for the town, you now have frontage on Church Street as well, which now you can connect more land, which is good.
You ready for a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I am.
Move
Yes.
endorsement of the Form A as requested.
by Foresight. Is it Foresight?
Yeah.
Foresight Land Services.
And
And
the
what's
date.
the date?
On the plan or,
I think
Yeah,
they need
plan.
plan.
June 4th is what I have it.
So
Move approval endorsement of the Form A as requested by Foresight Land Services on behalf of the town of Lee dated June 4th, 2024.
second,
Okay, any further discussion?
I'm good.
Hearing none, go around the room. Conrad,
Nice.
Peg,
aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Do we also have the motion to forego payment? Because it'd be kind of ridiculous.
Oh,
Yes, that's what I was told. I didn't bring the check.
oh,
Oh,
Do you want
I
to keep
move- I
these?
move
for
that
your
we for-
notes?
I move that we forego payment for the Form A application.
I'll second that.
Peg seconds. Any discussion? Conrad,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye.
Do you want any of my,
Not those, do
We
we
need big ones.
I
have the big ones? Yeah, we'll
Yes,
start
sir.
signing. You have a Mylar in there?
I did,
Huh?
and a pen.
You know the drill.
I might have done it once or twice.
Yeah.
But I like my props.
Well, sure, nothing wrong with that. We like them.
Usually we get them going in all different directions.
I know.
Let's try
If
it.
you don't mind, if you will sign the Mylar with a Sharpie,
Sure.
Mhm.
it is a fine tip too.
The Mylars on the.
Last one. I don't like when you get smudged.
Need to borrow your pen.
Yeah, okay. You go right. ahead.
Long now.
Yeah, we need a bigger war room. Easier.
Thank you. I'll look at the pen.
Put carbon through it? The old carbon?
Oh my
folder?
goodness, I remember those.
I do too.
Mary's.
Sorry,
I'm a mess. Take it.
there you go.
I have elastics if you want to roll the top when you're done.
They all.
Yep, there you go. Exciting part of the meeting.
Well, I've had some challenging ones lately, so this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
Which towns?
Lennox, always Lennox.
Lennox, oh, yeah, yeah.
we've been there.
With Lennox,
Well, we've got challenges ourselves.
yeah.
Every town does.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go. Light industrial?
I don't know. Okay.
Go. Ready for that Mylar here.
Oh, here's some. Well, I believe these are for the town.
Yes.
So this is belongs to the registration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe Foresight, I think I have a report down, that's just a little,
Yeah.
make it easier to do it.
Yeah.
That did work out well. It gave me some time to do some research.
Oh,
How did we do in
You
your?
got that, thank you.
Waste too much time with it, you think?
No, that was very good. Interesting listening to that.
I was there, yeah. I was-
You wanna like. But,
I'm assuming
jump in,
just-
jump in,
I'll
but
leave
you
it with
can't.
yours.
Take care of that.
You don't mind?
And I thought you laid out a plan very well.
You didn't seem that happy.
No,
I don't know, she's hard to. She's the boss.
Right, thank you, everyone.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Official business.
Okay, next up, we have Jeff Cohen, Eagle Mill. How you doing tonight?
Feeling right.
We haven't seen you in a
Years.
years, yeah, so.
So I'm here for really 2 reasons. One, to give you an update of the status in the. And two, I want to talk to you about the residential unit count at the mill. First, an update. In March, Eagle Mill redevelopment sold to Reese Larkin Development the historic mill buildings, which are what have been identified as phase one of the development of the mill. All of the historic tax credits have been approved and they continue to be issued on a quarterly basis. So that process will continue for years. But phase one, which is 56 units, is now under active construction. Also under active construction has been demolition for the entire site. There are certain buildings to the right of the historic buildings that are gone now. 7 houses, obviously, is a reason to celebrate, they're gone. And in addition, the remediation is virtually complete, be done in a few weeks. So remediation, pretty far along. Phase one, old mill buildings under construction. The next step will be an application to, I don't know whether it's called the Department of Housing anymore, but that the state of Massachusetts for financing, which they have asked us to do, which is somewhat unique for phase two. Phase two at the board has been previously identified essentially as 3 buildings. The 2 new apartment buildings, one with some retail space. That's 66 additional affordable housing units, 70% affordable, I think 25% is workforce housing, 5% is Section 8 as required by law. So that phase 2, 66 units, may also include the machine shop. And the machine shop is the reason that I'm here. Originally, the machine shop was planned to be retail space. And we thought we had a deal with the marketplace. I don't know if you all are familiar with who they are, but they have cafes in Sheffield, Great Barrington, Pittsfield, and they have other, they have a Miller, which is a beer bar. They have a prepared food store. They have a lot of businesses. But because of COVID, not only has the marketplace suffered, but most of the retailers we've talked to, restaurants and otherwise, just don't want to start and won't start new businesses. So we've eliminated, for the time being, possibility of retail space on that site. It could be in one of the new buildings in the 66 units that get built, which is 2 buildings. We have first floor space identified for potential retail, but that's a couple, 3-4 years away. When we apply for phase 2 financing, I would like us to be able to include the machine shop as 9 additional residential units. I came here last time because the board originally approved in the 40R zoning for this site 122 residential units. You didn't specify a percentage for affordable or for workforce, but you approved a total of 122 units on the site. And then I came back at a later time and you approved an additional 6 units, which we at the time discussed as being 6 condominium townhouses built adjacent to one another right on the river. So today, the site is approved for 128 residential units, plus the machine shop, which is identified as a retail commercial building. So I went to speak to Chris and basically said, hey, we need to add 9 more units. Can we do that? Now, obviously, both of us knew we were coming to the planning. I said, what's necessary? He said, I don't know, go and talk to them. So when you increase the number of units from 122 to 128, it was at a meeting, best of my recollection, very similar. We know there's more than adequate parking on the site. And you guys said, okay, you can go to 128 units. So ideally tonight, I'd like you to approve, if you can, an additional 9 units potentially to be in the machine shop. If we can find a retail tenant, I think that would be healthier than 9 more units. We continue to look. We have brokers working on it, Rich Aldrich and now Sotheby's and others. But to be honest with you, I can't find a retail tenant. I can't find a retail tenant for the train station, for Sullivan Station. That's been vacant. Business closed March 1st of 2022 because the owners got divorced. Nobody really understands that or knows it. That's why it closed. They've been paying their rent like clockwork ever since. And we've been looking for another restaurant ever since, and I can't find it. I can't find an office tenant user, which would also be nice in the place. So candidly, I'd like to, one, check the integrity of the site and not end up with a vacant machine shop for a period of time. We're at some risk when we originally had the tax credits approved. When you do that, you have a time limit. We're a single phase project. So we have 2 years from the date we started construction to put that building in service. If we don't do it, we lose over $1 million in historic tax credits for that one building alone, which will make it more difficult to develop it, period. We have a way, we think, of extending that time period by basically selling the building to another entity which would reapply for the part two approval and extend the time by another couple of years from the date we start construction on. it. But I can't do any of that until I know that the building is okay for 9 units. I gave to Buck earlier a preliminary plan of what the 9 units would look like.
We have only one copy.
I only have one copy.
I've been
Happy
writing
to
on the
leave
back
it
of
here.
it, so.
That's okay. I mean, the plan is the plan.
It's the
I
most
think it-
amount of reasonably sized units we could get in here without making them too small, and I don't want to produce efficiency. I think.
The market rate or?
No, that's a good question. If we include them in the phase two, or if it's possible the housing department will say 43 units is the right size we want, so we'll approve that one of the new buildings in phase two. And now we want you to go to a phase three, the remaining building of 23 units. Plus the machine shops will take it up to 32. It's kind of in their wheelhouse when they finance affordable housing, that the unit count be 40 to 60, somewhere in that range. So my guess is we'd have to do the machine shop along with the smaller of the two buildings, which either becomes phase two or phase three. And obviously they would require an approval at the planning board of that building being able to be used for residential purposes. That's pretty much kind of where we're at. We are fully financed on phase one. You can see the construction is going on everywhere on the site, demo, remediation, construction. So I think everybody believes it's all going to happen. And the housing department asked us to get phase two applied for, which happens in January. So pretty good shape.
That is good. Go ahead, Peg.
I do, so this new area that you want, it's only 9 more
It's
units?
the machine shop, which, oh, let me answer the question. Market rate versus
Oh, yeah, Sure.
affordable. If it's affordable, it's easy to add it into phase two with one of the other two buildings. That's the easy way. And if we can do that, that's our first choice. If we can't do that for some reason, and we still want to capture those tax credits, we would probably develop the building as market rate if the numbers work, and I'm not sure. I hate to tell you what it costs to build 1 unit in the Eagle Mill historic site. But if we could make the numbers work, frankly, for market rate housing, we'd have 9 units, we'd rent them for 5 years, because that's the period that the tax credits exist. At the end of 5 years, tax credit can no longer be recaptured. So we could sell the units as individual condos.
Hmm.
And that's, I think it's somewhat attractive to have some home ownership on the site. So we're gonna look at that. But I don't want to lose the tax, we can't
No.
afford to lose the tax credit.
thank you.
The approximate cost per unit,
I'm curious,
anybody want to venture a guess in the?
how many
historic
square
buildings?
footage?
I don't know
is
that
each
it
unit?
matters. Doesn't matter how much you think in.
I'm hearing like, things are over 500 a square foot these days.
Well,
And
if you
renovation.
had 1,000 square foot apartment, that'd be 500,000, and that would be 20% below the cost.
Wow.
Over $600,000
Uh.
per unit, which is why it's so damn difficult to get it finished.
This is on rehab.
Supply chain issues. We got increases because of COVID of approximately $8 million just on those 56 units because of whatever supply chain cost increases. So,
How do you pencil that on, even on market rate?
Hmm?
How do you pencil? Just
well,
the 600,000
it,
redevelopment cost per unit.
the machine shop better not cost 600,000 a unit, or we won't be able to make it work. If it costs 400,000 a unit,
Still,
you get $1 million in tax credit, which brings that cost down significantly. Look, if we can rent them on a market rate basis, you'd probably have a 1 bedroom for something more than $2,000 a month, at least.
Hmm,
And a two-bedroom for close to 3,000,
hmm.
which is what they're getting in Great Barrington.
And
Yeah.
now, even
Right.
in Lee,
Much more than that in
Yeah.
Great Barrington for
yeah,
new construction. So to be determined, but I can't do any of it unless I can say, yes, I've been to the planning board. Planning board said we can have those units. And I'm telling you, as long as you say alternatively, yes, you could have the 9 additional units, or you can do it retail. We're still going to look for retail because it's a great retail site.
So, I think it comes down to everyone, there is a avenues for change of plan. Here, how it goes. After plan approval, an applicant may apply to make minor changes in a project involving minor utility or building orientation adjustments or minor adjustments to parking or other site details that do not affect the overall build out or building envelope of the site, or provision of open space, number of housing units, or housing need or affordable features. Such minor changes must be submitted to the PAA, that's us, on red line prints and the approved plan, reflecting the proposed change in the application forms provided by the PAA. PAA may authorize such changes at any regular scheduled meeting without the need to hold a public hearing. The PAA shall set forth any decisions to approve or deny such minor change by motion and written decision, and provide a copy to the applicant for filing with the town clerk. So, and then it goes into a major change. Those changes deemed by the PAA constitute a major change in a project because of the nature of the change in relation to the prior approved plan, or because such change cannot be appropriately characterized as a minor change as described above, shall be processed by the PAA as a new application for plan approval pursuant 199-10.61 through 10.6.
So we have an existing building,
Yep,
change of use from retail to apartments.
Residential.
yep.
Same football.
Envelope's not changing.
You are put an addition. You got a CMU addition on the side?
That's in the original plan. You mean at the end of the building?
Right.
It's just converting an existing space. It's not an addition per se.
Or,
It's,
okay,
I don't know if you know, when you face the building from the street, it's the left
that's side.
inside the building. It's got a little thing.
So when the approved plan went through, that CMU addition is already,
Yes, it's always been.
so then do we at least need a marked up plan? Or some sort of document that shows that it's a change of use from retail to this?
It
Or it's just
says,
simply a vote?
um,
Are you asking for approval as a minor change?
If you can give it to us,
we can,
yes.
I believe that's what I'm assuming it is.
What about the language that says change in the number of units?
It says, yeah, number of housing units.
That rules it out, I think.
I think it does.
You did it last time.
I know. Trying to remember how.
I think it was very similar to
Mhm.
like this. I don't know that we even came in with plans for the townhouses, and it's
Not
not
close,
urgent,
no.
but it's something we need to do soon because we need to apply soon.
I don't think it'd be a problem, other than still have the original plan.
So what would you want from us to, and other than I could get you a larger set of that drawing of the unit?
Parking is gonna change, right?
Parking, we have more.
Stormwater's not gonna change, lighting's not gonna change, landscaping's not gonna change.
I do
Open
think
space
we
is
gotta,
not gonna change, nothing is gonna change other than what goes on inside those walls.
yeah, I'm not sure why last time, but I mean, it's right there. Housing units have changed. You've gone up 9,
We've gone up 6, 122 to 120.
How much extra work and cost is it to come in with the formal? I mean, I don't remember all the details.
Well, it's a special permit, so it has to
Oh,
be,
no.
we have to do a
No,
meeting,
I believe in
Yeah.
meeting and everything.
Does it really have to go that far?
No,
Huh?
Do you really have to go through all that again?
no.
Yeah, that's what
No,
we're wondering here.
No,
Wow.
you're saying no, you don't want it, or no, you don't agree with it? reading.
No, I think we should do it as quickly as possible. I'm in favor of it.
Can I
Well,
ask
we
some
don't want it
questions?
to be set aside either, so.
Go ahead. Yes.
I have some questions, Jeff. I didn't get to study the plan. I was flipping through. a lot. Is it an upstairs and a downstairs?
Yes,
level?
some units are 2 levels and a couple of units are single level.
But there's no upstairs apartment. That's only upstairs.
Not that no, I don't think so.
Okay.
They're all on the first floor.
So they'll be
first
up-
and second.
They'll all be up and down. townhouse
Like
style.
like a townhouse.
Yeah,
style.
okay, good. Last time, as I recall, we had a big discussion about parking.
Yes,
And I remember that I think your third visit, when we dropped the southern side of the street, we had a big discussion about whether the parking was adequate, and it turned out that the bylaw was very clear that there had to be 1 parking spot per unit.
right.
Now we're increasing the number of units. Is that still?
We have lots more. Remember, we also had at the time a retail company, which required more than 1 space. Effectively more than 1 space.
So this improves the parking situation.
Well, parking's more than adequate. It's not threatened by constant retail traffic and uses anymore. So it's better than that.
If we were to approve this, I'm not predicting what we might do tonight, but if we were, I wonder if I could ask you to give the board a letter after the approval summarizing the units and the locations and the type, the economic type, and by building at each of the phases. You understand what I'm asking for?
Yeah.
In other words,
Sure.
at the end of phase 1, how many units of which type in each building? At the end of phase 2, how many units of each type?
You want size and a definition by whether it's affordable
Yeah,
market.
that's the thing I'm after, not so much the size, but by economic category.
Okay, well, that really hasn't changed.
Yeah, I know, I just don't.
But I'm happy to give you a definition of all the buildings and the uses in each building.
And I have another question, which I'm glad to see you here. I'm not sure it's part of what you came to talk about tonight, but
I
Tell
like
me
being
about-
here. I've been coming here for 12 years.
tell me about the concrete pile that's adjacent to the road.
I
Is that going
believe-
away?
I believe, I'm not sure of this. I mean, the good news is, once they start construction, there's not much I have to do. My job is this. There were basements, significant basements in this property, and the way we fill them is to whatever that lady was here before.
Are we gonna crush them?
Crush them, I think, and it gets, it's filled for basement.
What is Billings doing there now? Doug Billings, he's in where the units are. I've been watching him all over the place in the front
I
of
think
it.
he's a sub for Spiritas Universal or something. I think it's Spiritas Universal. That's the demolition contractor.
Mhm.
Also responsible for the remediation. So Billings, who I saw there the other day, is working for Spiritas and for DEW Construction, which is the general contractor of the entire.
I mean, it's perfect fill.
Yeah, it is, but it's beyond my
Okay,
pay grade.
Gotcha.
I did my job.
I'm just happy to know that it's going away, however slowly. It was pretty ugly there all winter, and it was just sitting there.
So wait a minute, before the winter came, everybody said, get rid of the houses, Jeff, get rid of the houses.
Yes, that's
So-
right.
I want them back.
Rid
I
of
would
the house.
wanna-
And it's really Spiritas that's staging whatever's going on with the rubble that's on the site. But they told me the other day they're only gonna be there about 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And DEW, so
well, there was tractor trailer load after tractor trailer load. I think it was roofing material that showed up quickly. And it did my heart. I just felt, oh, we
when the
are,
houses came,
we are moving.
when the houses came in, everybody celebrated.
I know. That was the
You know, that
big deal.
was sort
Yeah.
of the big. But now if you look, no matter where you look on the site, there's guys up on the chimney.
I know,
That-
they're all
People
over.
in the buildings,
God
there's
bless
people outside. I mean, it's like a real construction job.
Yeah,
Well, the guys that were up on that chimney. That's a
In
job
90
not for
some
me.
degree level.
I know.
No.
But you have to take the chimney down
Did that
and then
say
build it
something
back up.
about
Because it's
them,
unstable.
them submitting
It's-
a letter
it's-
and then.
as I say, I'm
Read what they're trying to
so
do,
happy.
but you guys
The
don't
original
put it
plan.
off record.
when you
So it doesn't-
finish that, go to the other.
Like it should be, you got.
So the other mill.
Yeah.
The other.
Underline.
That's owned by the.
Columbia
Sorry, this is yours. Hey,
and,
easier than reading it on the phone. I did
Right.
find it in the phone. That's just what I was
And
looking
he
for.
hired my son-in-law, who
Yep.
worked for the, John DeCraker, be his director of real estate development.
Okay.
John has worked out a really cool plan for Niagara. I don't know if
Really?
they do it For, I believe, market rate condos. I think it'll be gorgeous.
Oh,
And then
Great
Graylock.
site, it's a great site.
Fabulous. Graylock, I don't know what to do with. And Columbia, they're looking at demolishing most of those buildings.
Oh, wow.
And then, but I mean, none of us will be alive in that
That's right.
project this year.
you're right.
I mean, all kidding aside, so.
We'll be lucky to see the Eagle done complete and
You'll see that.
occupied.
You'll see that. Oh, will it be occupied next year?
Okay.
There will be around. I don't know, you might be. I know I won't be around. When and if the Columbia Mill is ever developed, because it's gotta take.
What did you say about Graylock? What did you say about Graylock?
Graylock, I don't think they know what to do with it. It's so damn big and it really should be, I believe, used by a national company. Because they can't find little businesses and things to fill it in.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Great.
So I think that's a problem. But Niagara could be wonderful. They got a bike path, a walking path design
Mm,
coming down to the Eagle. It's just a really
wow.
neat thing that's gonna take a while.
I heard a rumor that there was an idea about the Graylock Mill to turn the empty lot south of Graylock into housing,
A village.
village, yeah.
Mm,
It's not a plan yet, but it's an idea. It's an idea they're talking. It's
good idea.
40 acres.
It's
They
my
have
lot,
adjacent
but
I
to
know,
Graylock.
that was your thought too.
Yeah,
It's actually to the third, but.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
yeah.
they're talking about creating a village.
Mm.
I don't know whether it's affordable or market rate or sale or what it is. But at least what's different is he's got a competent architect engineer full-time working on plans for those three.
Well, Graylock, they gotta get a roof on it for, gets in big trouble.
You know what?
It's not your problem.
My God.
Mm. So
Okay,
are we gonna
Thank
give
you.
them a
Okay.
motion?
what do you
What
guys?
do we do? Do we wanna make a motion
Or do we have an option?
or do we just say it's
So we just,
okay?
have them submit a plan and show us what they proposed and I guess sounds like it didn't even need a public hearing, right? It's basically,
If we want to, we did it before.
I think, I'm not comfortable making them go back and start
I'm not
from
either.
square one.
no,
No,
I'm not really
No.
comfortable just saying it's okay tonight. I really would like to see. I don't know if it's the letter or maybe something a little different, but I just feel like I'd like to have. A status summary of what the thing looks like as approved, as, requested for approval. And
what the changes.
Yeah.
what the changes, but also,
I think-
what the number of parking spots will be at the end of phase two and what the trees and bushes are gonna look like at the end of phase
Well,
two.
that you already have.
I know.
So that's not gonna
That
change.
that makes it easy for you. I
Just
just,
to
I
say
just
it's
don't
not gonna
remember,
change.
it's been 5 years since I've seen it.
right.
Why don't I give you a summary of what the project as completed will entail?
After phase three,
That the whole
Yeah.
project,
yeah,
the number of
Yeah.
units, breakdown
Breakdown
of
of them.
affordable versus.
Let's do a red line, red
And a-
line of
And
this
a
change.
plan,
Yes,
a larger plan
Yes,
than
please.
that for the machine shop.
It indicated the,
I think that's
you taking out the retail part of it, substituting it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yes, but to be candid, I'd like it to be approved in a way so that if somebody walks in tomorrow that's credible and it's a good retail use for the town, we'll go put that in. That would
So this
be
is an alternative.
as an alternative.
Yep.
Sounds good.
yeah. Yeah, you get us some updated and the breakdown, everybody's. It is part of the smart growth formula, so we are in,
and Jeff, because of the, this is a multi-year project that has funding only approved so far through phase one. we're cheerful about phase two. We don't know anything about phase three, so I'm interested in what it's gonna look like after phase two. So if you can mark, somehow.
We don't know yet. I can't give you, a specific answer. I could tell you phase two could be 43 and 9, it could be 43, could be
Okay,
30. I'll give you
That's
the
fine.
alternatives
That's
that
fine.
we're looking
that's
at
all.
that are our choices.
But if phase three never happens, I personally would like to make sure that we're left with something beautiful, just the same.
You will be, essentially, you'd have finished buildings, you'd have green grass. What's important in all of this is that the Department of Housing would not have my judgment, and I think it's proven to be true, would not have approved phase one, knowing it was a 2 or 3 phase project, without understanding that they would approve phase two, which was going to be just the 2 buildings. So I think and feel somewhat confident, especially with the current government, who says more housing. So I think we'll get that, but I'll spell it out.
I just know that there are a lot of things that happen in the world that nobody expected. And
Forget it.
I don't want to be left with, oh, we were gonna do all of that nice stuff in phase three. I want to make sure that some of the nice stuff happens in phase two.
Well, phase two is another building or 2, and phase 3 is the last building.
Yeah.
And or the townhouses.
Right, I'm thinking about landscaping.
That'll be as you have already approved. That won't change. The only thing that would change is where there's a building.
Okay, so I don't
Becomes
remember,
grass.
I don't remember when you were gonna put the trees and bushes in, for example. When was
We
that?
start at the end of phase 2. Because we don't want people living in a construction zone. We want to make it
That's the
as
idea.
nice as we can out
Yeah.
front. But that doesn't change. But I'll get you a comprehensive letter that explains everything, and I'll get you a set of plans.
Great, thank you.
You just get it to Chris so we can put it on the agenda
Yep,
for discussion.
Yeah.
Let me find out when I
Yeah.
can have.
okay,
But we agree we
Like
could
this.
do this without a formal hearing,
I think so.
as long as
If
we, have-
everybody's okay with that,
Whatever it says.
I'm okay,
as long as it's on the agenda.
it's both, it's
as
on.
long as it's on the agenda.
Yeah.
Copy.
We're gonna
Yeah.
leave the decks pretty much open for him when he's ready. So we can get him in and get
Yeah.
it through and.
Yeah.
Can move on.
I think that would be
I mean, if-
fine
Technically, it's changing the number of units.
by 4%.
You might get reject.
The alternative.
But it might- yeah, the
alternative is worse.
Doesn't make sense.
I-
It doesn't make sense. If you were all of a sudden coming in and you were doing 50% change,
Yeah, that's a big.
I feel that'd be different.
Yeah, if we were coming back and saying, hey, we want to do this retail mall again. That would be a significant change.
Yeah, that would be, or a hotel again,
Yeah, if we were reducing the number, especially affordable,
Yeah,
that
that
would.
would, because 120, yeah.
122 is what you approved. Affordable and workforce. And 5% section, that's what you approved. That's what you get. What we're talking about adding to that
That's
is
funny.
the 6 condominium. Which may or may not ever get built. And the conversion of,
Where did the section 8 come in there?
it's a statutory requirement.
Okay. Because that was never, not much discussed,
No.
To be honest with you, I didn't know that.
Yeah. because that was,
When the state
Yeah.
approves, you have to 5%. So you're talking about 5-6 units out of 100.
Well,
okay,
Okay.
all right.
we're all
Thank
glad
you,
to
guys.
see
Get the
it.
Good to see
paper,
everybody.
if you can get something together for us
I'll
by
put
meeting,
something nice together,
that'd be good.
and then I'll submit it to you, and then if you have questions, let me know,
Yep,
correct or add.
Yeah. because we gotta, all around the county, our agendas have to be really more detailed. We can't be too vague with them. It's getting worse.
But,
I don't know,
no,
people-
we'll
People
give
have
you
nothing
very-
better to do than turn you into
We'll give you something
The
comprehensive.
agenda.
to the
police.
state. It is. We just got dinged at Berkshire Regional because the
Hallelujah.
agenda was not detailed. It
Oh, well.
was great. It was
So
great.
I'll give
What are you
you a
gonna do?
specific request, I'll give you.
Thank
all
you.
the
It'll be
backup
fine. Well, thank you.
Okay,
Everybody.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
You all.
We'll see you.
Oh, she just loves it. I'm not sure. Okay, next up, we have, implementation of the master plan.
Oh, my goodness.
It almost goes along with another agenda item, but
Well, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what I want to ask you to decide tonight. I just want to tell you that I think we're going to have a planner soon. Maybe.
well,
you could
that's,
tell-
like I said,
Yeah.
it's in our agenda here.
So, assuming that we have a planner at our next or the meeting after that. I think we should begin a discussion, a detailed discussion of all the things that the planner is to do in the master plan. And I don't know if we should go through it section by section, one meeting per section.
I think so.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I think let's,
I think that the task, I think for us is. There might be 20, 30 things in there, say the planner is going to be involved in this activity. And that's going to be overwhelming for the person, I think. And so we're going to have to help that person. I think it's going to be a woman, is that right?
it is.
Has it been announced?
Well, I have it right here. I can get her first name, Swetha is her first name. And I'll pass around her background is, first she was a graduate in architecture, from her home in India. She has moved to the United States and she's been at UMass for the past few years, graphic design and planning. And she's been working with UMass, a planner up there. She's young, in her 20s, but she was way ahead of any of the other candidates we had. A lot of the candidates that we had were looking for someplace to bite out their last few years, stuff like that, or not, didn't just seem to have the pep that we were looking for. And then some that, but did, were, I felt they were gonna come in to change our little New England town too far. They were more of an activist than planners. So that's what we juggled. We ended up, how the process went, we did resumes, narrowed it down to, I think it was 8 or 9 that we did Zoom interviews with. And then from that, we took 2 and did personal interviews.
How many applications?
There was probably, might have been over 20. There was quite a few. There was 2 pages of applications. Yeah. Yeah. Swetha. Yes, very energetic. Just, I think she'll be a great fit. She's okay with that. She's gonna have to be doing all the clerical for a little while. I was really, when we voted for a planner at town meeting, I didn't realize that they were eliminating the land use assistant when they were doing this.
I didn't either. I
No,
thought there would be
I thought it was an add-on.
Expansion, yeah.
I did
Oh.
too. So,
So we're not gonna have a land use assistant?
no, this person is taking over all of it. They'll be full-time. But I'm hoping that they're not bogged down into the minutia of it.
Wow.
But as I'm talking, we're doing this and I'm talking to her and I mean, Peter, developing our site plan and special permit bylaw. We were always at the problem with who can people go to talk about this? And the land use assistant just didn't seem to be that qualified person. And now we have a planner who is that qualified person. And I think it's gonna just, like this stuff tonight. This person would have covered that. He would have come in, he would have had us ready for something to sign. Or she'd tell him, she might have gone right by the book and said, I don't think you can do that. So that, which in that case, we're gonna have to have a good communication dialogue with her that, we're a small town, we want to make things happen. She has to have that flexibility.
Are we
Wow.
stay with Sabrina as the minutes writer?
No, this person will,
We'll do
will
that,
do
Joe?
that. Yep,
Still 10 meetings?
yep, she's good at 10 meetings. Yep, she knows that.
Wow.
It's very
It's a big step
interesting.
up. It's a big step up.
It's a
for
big
the board.
step up. She's an interesting girl. Wait till it'll be good. She's,
So if you don't mind, Buck, I'll just return to the same theme as before, which is that she's gonna have a master plan handed to her with 25 or 50.
she's already read it,
Is there-
already read it, has ideas about it.
Oh, good.
Wow.
I mean, and she's still applied for the
She's
job.
still applying. And you know, that's what, when we're doing the final interview, she was referencing our master plan. The other interview, he kind of said he had seen it, but really
Yeah.
didn't have any of the details of it. She, you
Very
know,
impressive.
That alone is.
yeah, so I was impressed with that. I just hope, you know, everybody in town hall that I've talked to, I'm like, give her a chance. Let's see what happens. I
Great,
mean,
great.
the accent is tough, but I found a few minutes talking to her, it was not a problem. So
Who was gonna be her immediate supervisor?
I believe Chris Britt.
I
mean, that's how it works. And actually, her immediate day-to-day will be, but she will answer to us.
Well, I don't really.
To the board.
The board, as a board, we can refer to her.
Yeah.
But, too much power in one spot. That's where all
I mean, he'll be her supervisor in town hall, I would imagine. I haven't seen the town hall flow chart, but she works for the planning board.
Good.
one other thing that will be happening soon, I think, or I hope, as she comes on board is there'll be a grant arriving that you need to apply for tonight.
Coming up next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to wait.
I mean, it's just, it all kind of flows together.
So
Yeah, go
CJ
ahead.
Ross, who was the staffer from the regional plan committee, commission, has sort of in his head all the different timings for all the different grants. And, he discussed with, I think, Buck and me, but not the whole board, I think, the idea of making an application soon for a grant from the state to help us do, land use planning. So we would have, if we got the grant, we would have the possibility of some extra money, maybe to hire someone else to further assist the planner or to do some research or something, but the application letter, have you seen, is the application letter in our packet?
No, it's not. Our
Does
the
anybody have a
grant
copy?
application.
Well, there are a lot of things you could do first in the master plan. You know, some of us thought that housing was pretty important and I have a so far uncompleted plan to try and get the housing trust process going. And I know John Renier, who was a member of the master plan committee, was also a selectman, is interested in that. But I also think that one of the other larger themes was what to do about downtown. And trying to keep it vital, trying to turn it into a place where there's, you know, young people and old people, shops, and people able to walk to things. And I just felt more and more as the master plan process went forward that we need to pay attention to what the proper zoning is for downtown. And so I talked to CJ about it. He mentioned a couple of things to me. We mentioned in the plan that Pittsfield had done something called form-based zone, which I don't really understand, but I would like to. And then I think they're in Great Barrington, they did a downtown overlay, which is allowing more multiple family housing downtown. So I think I'd like to pursue both of those ideas over the next year or so with this board, unless you folks disagree. And I think this grant we apply for and see that could help us pursue those options, you know, with some vigor, as opposed to just whatever any of us can sort of come up with going after
For the
work.
planning, all right?
Yeah, yeah. So, I recommend that we, endorse the proposal to apply for the grant. I've seen the letter, I think by an email.
Yeah, I had it here.
Who does the application?
I think CJ is gonna do it,
TJ
and we're gonna,
doing it.
the
Yep.
selectmen, I think, have approved it, endorsed it, and they've asked, CJ's asked that we endorse it. And then he'll send it along with the two endorsements to agency X, whatever it is that gives out the grants. I'm sorry, I don't have a letter here for you. I hoped it would be in our packet.
So you're making a motion? Making a.
I make a motion that we endorse the application for a grant for planning in the upcoming year
And authorize the chair to
and authorize,
sign a
Yeah.
letter of recommendation or a letter of support. for the
yes.
plan.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. Conrad,
Aye.
Peg,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Okay, also we have here a letter. Just another business. I think I could just, thanking the Open Space Committee. Lee Planning Board commends the work that your committee has done to create an updated open space recreation plan. We appreciate the time and effort that all members of the committee have dedicated to developing the plan. Provides town boards, committees, and volunteers with a series of actions that will protect town resources while improving recreational offerings. At today's town meeting, July 8th, the planning board voted to endorse the Lee Open Space and Recreational Plan updated 2024. Thank you again for your hard work. We look forward to implementing the final plan. That'll go to them. Here's Swetha's resume. I'm gonna scan this tomorrow and send it to you guys. I was hoping that we'd have a copy in everybody's
Yeah, that'd be nice.
packet, but that didn't, I guess they don't like making copies for us here. I don't get it.
Well, it's Chris is filling in for the
Yeah,
full-time.
Million
He's got a lot on his mind.
I know.
So funny story. We got the two agendas that come in. So I'm looking at some of the stuff and Mr. O'Brien and what's his name, Chuck Cohen. So who do I call here? Because there's nobody here. So I try to get a hold of Sabrina. Sabrina's off.
Yeah,
She's on vacation.
Chris is off.
Okay, so I called Chris's office. There's no Chris. So then I hop in the car, I come down to the town clerk. I go, nobody's around. We got a planning board meeting tonight, and I was hoping to see what was going on, because all I had is just the agenda. So they said, oh, Chris and Sabrina put everything out here in the courtroom before they left. Oh, so I could just come walk down here? She said, yeah, walk down here. So that's why I saw some of the stuff was here. It was all lined up here. All the tags were here.
Oh,
You know, they had it all set before we got here.
Well, they needed it.
When we had another meeting.
Not seeing.
There used to be.
Not
like a
seeing a
Downey
copy
office
of their
here.
letter.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's hard. Well,
The
hopefully
letter of
we'll
endorsement.
have somebody soon.
Mr. Chairman, could I bring up a item for future agendas?
Yes, sir.
We changed the bylaw about sign permits a year or so ago. And previously, some of you will remember that we used to spend a lot of time on sign permits at every meeting. And then we delegated that to the staff and asked that they report to us when they issue signs. And I've never seen such a report. I saw a draft form for such a report and discussed it with building commissioner, what ought to be on it, gave him my recommendations. But I've never seen such a form filled out. And I've discussed it with Chris Britton, and Chris, I thought was going to have for us tonight a listing of all the sign permits that have been issued in the past year or two. But that isn't before us either, so I would request that this item be added to the next agenda.
Well, yes.
It's on vacation, so everybody.
That Mark
When
McDonald
is
is
the
in
next
front of
meeting?
him. Is that it?
No, wait a minute. It might be.
We,
Oh, okay, so we did get it.
uh,
I still want to talk about it at the next meeting.
Oh, yes,
Intimidated to do so now because it wasn't on the agenda, so.
yes. We'll put this on
need that. Yeah,
and we'll all need a copy of this.
right.
But it doesn't give us a whole lot of detail on this.
It should give us information about who got the sign permit.
Yeah.
But not a lot about
And the
how they comply.
correct. Yes, that needs to be on the agenda. Yeah, that's what I was wondering what that was.
Exactly, town planner, when is this young lady gonna be?
I believe she'll begin in August.
Oh,
sometime.
August. Hmm,
Yep.
it's another month.
Is our next meeting the 8th? July? I may have scheduled.
Oh, yeah.
Second,
It would be-
yeah, it would be.
yeah.
I'll put that up.
Okay. The 8th, 22nd, yeah, I don't even know if I'll, interestingly enough, she needs to find housing. Needs to get her driver's license and get a car.
Who is? Oh, the new planner?
Yeah,
Oh,
and she, you know, I heard, talk to Chris and he said, oh yeah, she has no problem. She says she'll figure that out by the end of the week. I'm like, okay. It's like, that was just right there, I felt was a little bit impressive. Yeah, she showed up here from Amherst, so she's been living in Amherst, so, and she also has to do some legal things with her green card, work visa and all, so. Should be interesting.
well,
Well, I'm looking forward to an active year with this board.
I think so. We have an active year coming up. She'll, yeah, I hope we don't get her bogged down into the clerical of it.
Why does Dan look so worried?
I'm not, I think she'll be fine. You know, I was actually curious just to see, what her.
You want to take a quick peek at it?
Sure.
So
But no, I think it's,
she's been doing a lot of work with UMass down there on their campus planning. And you have to, you know, yes, it's a college, but it's also an area with over 20,000 people.
Crazy,
students.
crazy people like myself may have attended there as well, so I know exactly what she had. Yeah.
oh, gosh, the tower.
Yeah, the towers, JQA and everything.
I was a.
Were you there?
You were JQA?
In
And all right.
Quincy Ave,
Yeah.
where the athletes stayed, yes, I lived in Coolidge as well.
Oh, wow.
I stayed close to the tower.
Okay,
There's copies for every.
20,
shoot,
20,
I'm sorry, I didn't,
20
The
stories.
resume, one page
Oh.
more.
Oh,
what am I thinking? I thought that was.
What was that, Peg? I'm sorry.
no, I was just
Here.
gonna say the youth.
That's fantastic.
Even
Yeah,
looking at
Ben
it
was
right.
in the
There we go. You did
Yeah.
good.
Hey,
Most of
I
them,
figured it out.
I know.
It's pronounced
There you go.
TH, Swetha,
Swetha.
sounds like
That's
T
right.
you just said.
I don't,
What
Swetha.
is it?
Sweat, the H
Is
is
that
silent.
mine?
Yep, that's yours.
Okay,
Swetha.
thanks. Well, this is gonna be interesting.
The new
Yep.
group, Ollie. Okay. So if we have to adjourn,
But having, I mean, yeah, just quick, it was interesting talking with her with her background in architecture.
Mhm.
Really kind of helps with planning, I felt, or everybody felt.
no,
I think it will.
when you do site plans, I mean, an architectural background would be very valuable, wouldn't it? I mean, on the piping and the drainage and the wetlands and all that stuff is studied in architecture.
I think it's wonderful.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second,
You got it.
any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
No.
Bye.